Hey everyone, it's Kelsey and Seth, and today we wanted to make a video kind of about like our process that we went through for foster parenting classes. And someone's tired because they've got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to get this video done. When we decided that we wanted to foster, we first started by looking on adoptuskids.org. This is take 3 of this video.
Yep, it used to be about us kids.
Anyway, but I wanted to know information, so we got information from them, and it just says more about kind of what the website has and why the kids are there and what they're all about. So
if you order this in the mail, just go on the website. It's the exact same thing.
It's the exact same thing. And honestly, it had been like 2 weeks and we hadn't got it in the mail. I was like, seriously, all I have to do is put this in the mail. Anyway, so I got impatient and decided that we would go ahead and contact our agencies around us because we were going to do that anyway. So we contacted all the agencies around us, and only one was doing classes, and that's the one we went with. It's like 20-30 minutes away. So we did the classes there. We had to go first to a they called it orientation. So I was expecting it to be like a big group of people, but no, it was just us and the social worker having conversations about kind of what brought us to this, what we know about foster care, why we want to do it, all that. So that was like a really in-depth meeting that we had with her, and then we had to sign to get background checks done and fill out some basic paperwork. Wasn't nothing too major. And then we got approved to take the classes, so we had to register for the classes. And the classes were 10 weeks long, and it was 40 hours worth of classes. So
it was 30
hours worth of classes. And they were all on Monday nights, so we had to figure out a way to get us to be able to go because Seth worked on weeknights, and so they switched his schedule around so that he could do the classes. Once we actually got to the classes, we got this binder on our first night. The binder on the first night was empty. It just had some dividers in it. And then each night when we got there, we got kind of like the slideshow that was going to be like handouts, our homework, and things like
Basically, 10 weeks of nothing but paper.
Yeah, 10 weeks of nothing but paperwork. And plus half of this, half of the paperwork that we filled out is not even in our folder because it was stuff we had to turn in for our agent to finish our application. But pretty much the class was split up into each week. You covered like a different basis of what they feel like is important to teach you for foster care. Things such as like how to deal with loss, how to deal with adoption, keeping the family included, co-parenting with the family. What is it called?
Shared parenting.
Shared parenting, yes. You want to talk about shared parenting, what that is?
It's parenting that is shared between the two families. Basically, the foster parents and the biological family, if they're still part of the child's life, try and make decisions together as a cohesive unit, instead of, oh, well, I have to abide by foster parent A and B's rules here, and then I get to abide by mom's rules here. It just tries to create an even playing field.
And it also helps because most of the time the parents are really, really mad at the social workers, and it used to be that they'd be just as mad as the foster parents, but they said that this program has helped kind of make it easier on the family, because they meet us, they get to talk to us, we get to work together, and they say just in general helps.
We even actually had to write a letter to the parents as part of the class.
Yeah. And within the first week that we have a child placed with us, we will meet with either their parents or some situations are different, but basically whoever they got taken away from. if it isn't their parents. But after we did the 40 hours of classes,
30.
30, why do I keep saying 40? Anyway, the 30 hours of classes.
This 40 is for the therapeutic.
That'll be it. Because we looked at doing therapeutic too. But I don't think I'm quite ready for that. But after we did the classes, we had to do medication training. We had to have both of our CPRs. During the process, we had to get our fingerprints done, another more in-depth background check. We had 2 home studies. So we have a nursery set up. We are set up for 2 children. For North Carolina, we had to go ahead and get individual beds, dressers individually, and they had to have a closet. So we had to put a wardrobe in that room because there wasn't a closet already. Not necessarily that will work in each state or in your county, but it worked for our situation. Each agent can choose what they're going to accept and what they're not. But the wardrobe worked for a closet in our situation. During the home study process, we had, every night during class we had homework, but we had like huge packets of stuff to fill out for the home studies. And at the home studies, we basically went through everything. Our past, each of our parents' past, how we deal with things, religious views, sibling stuff. We had to go through a lot of stuff. Mental wellness, physical wellness. We had to get physicals done. I'm trying to think what else we had to do. But the home study process itself, I've heard a lot of different stories about home studies. In North Carolina, we have the MAP program. I don't know if it has anything different to do with it, but our home study process was not as long and lengthy as a lot of people's. I over-prepared, way over-prepared, because I'd read and watched and tried to prepare myself. And it's better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. Let me just put it out there that way. But it basically, she walked through the house the first time she was here just because she asked if we had any questions, and we had a couple questions, so she walked through and saw everything. And then basically the second time she came, she just had to walk through like no time and just check off a list. But it was nothing like what I expected. We did have to sit here. We probably talked to her for 30 minutes the first time, and then maybe how long the next time?
Probably an hour.
An hour and a half, something like that. But asking questions and stuff, because she's the one who actually filled out our application, so she had to get all this information very in-depthly. Even more in-depth than you can just fill out a piece of paper under a question, because we've been spending hours and hours and hours and hours doing those. Before the second home study, we had to have a fire inspection. It didn't wind up happening that time because we had to go through different loops and jump through all kinds of hoops to be able to get our fire inspection done, because
the county wouldn't come out and do it because we were in the city limits, so we had to get the city to come out and do it.
Yeah. Once you get in the class, get your stuff done and get it all organized. But we thought we had it organized, it just didn't wind up working. But she still did the second home study anyway, and then I just turned in the fire inspection later, which that was a joke anyway because he didn't do, I feel like, what he should have. But we got checked off, all of our stuff was fine anyway, so.
And it was free. Yes,
and it was going to be free. Sometimes it'll pay, sometimes the state will pay for it, and sometimes the county will pay for it, and sometimes they won't. But ours was free. After the class was done, we had our home studies. We had to do CPR training. I had to because he already had it. We had medication training where they taught us to read labels and fill out medication forms and just general medication talk. Then we went to the waiting process, getting stuff filled out, making sure everything's done. What else? Let me just put it this way. If you expect foster parenting to be a snap, let's go do it, it'll be done in 2 seconds, don't expect that, because it has been a very drawn out process for us.
6 weeks ago, we thought our paperwork was sent in. And then 3 weeks later, we found out we had to sign another piece of paper.
Yeah, it's been longer than that now. It's been 6 weeks since the actual process has been set. So 9 weeks ago, but anyway. And so we expected it to be a lot quicker than it is. It is now September.
And we
started in February, and it has not been finished yet. It should be finished within the next 2 months, hopefully.
We'll be finished by next February.
That's our joke. But yes, don't expect it to be a super quick process. In general, the class itself, the one that we individually had, I felt like could have been a lot shorter. It could have covered more actual information on what foster parents should do. Give them more examples, I guess maybe is what I'm trying to say. Like, I thought it was like an advanced parenting class, basically. Okay, most people know how to be a parent, but this is what you need to do to help these individual children. It was a lot of legal stuff, a lot of how to work with the families and work with the agency and jump around hoops and just how to do all that. That's what the class basically covers. But it was a very long process of trying to cover the class. And it just gives foster parenting background, which we had already a lot of, but just definitions of what these words are. And then we get this whole book that we can look back on, you know, if we have a situation come up and stuff like that.
That's tickling my back.
Let me get your shirt. But in general, the foster parenting class wasn't the best for our situation. I've heard other ones being really great. But we needed to do it. It had to be done. It was part of the process. So, what is that? Necessary evil? Is that what it's called? You have to get it done. So, we had to do that. But I think in general, I'm pretty sure all of North Carolina has the same, like you have to do the classes. They may be split up differently. Like there's people from our church that did 2 classes a week, and they did it in half the time. And each of the classes were a little bit longer, so I think it was like even less than half the time. They are still waiting too, so we kind of can expect it to be a longer process for us too. But
again, by next February, this will be all done.
Yeah. In general, don't let the class scare you away from being a foster parent.
There were a lot of people that either flunked out by missing too many classes or just got scared.
Yeah.
And it was very weeded out. But by the end of it, we were all, a tight-knit group. Like, we're 5 minutes away from another foster parent, and we see each other at the Walmart, and we have conversations and all kinds of stuff, catch up. Even though there's a lot of people in the class, it was still very.
And there were actually only 14 couples or individuals in the class. But by the end of it, there were 10.
Yep.
So, 10 individual files, I guess would be the way to put it. I mean, some of them were couples, some of them were individual. But also the class weeds you out. Like, if you have bad background checks and things, then there's no point in you continuing. Like, I don't know what the breaking points were, but evidently it was bad enough that some of them couldn't continue. But that was pretty much our experience with the class. It's a lot of paperwork, a lot of emotions.
And if we ever let our license lapse, we got to start all over.
Yes.
So we got to keep this thing.
Yeah, but if we keep up to date and we take classes and stuff, like do random service classes and things, then we'll be fine. I think it's like 20 hours or something. I'm really off with the hours I've been doing today, so I think it's like 20 hours every 2 years.
30.
And we have 30? I don't know what it is. Anyway, you have to do some work hours, but yeah, that was our experience, and now we're in the waiting process. We've been in the waiting process now
for 9 weeks.
For 9 weeks, what we thought, but it's been 6 weeks since our application's been sent in, and they say it takes a month to 2 months, so we're still hoping that it'll be quick, but they also told the other couple at our church that it could be 3 months, so it kind of just varies, I guess. It also varies with how busy they are, how many people they have to do the classes, how many people they're going to have to go through. It's like a 10-page, I think she said.
Hopefully by Christmas we'll be able to open a file.
Yeah, it takes her 3 days to fill out her application, so it's a really long, lengthy process that they have to go through and all that. So it could be a while till we still hear back. We're really hoping that it'll be real quick. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I hope y'all enjoyed having Seth here. The bloopers were funny for this video, but anyway. But
you may get to see those later.
Maybe. But we'll see y'all in our next video, and yeah, bye y'all.